What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. Oh, man, back with a match reaction. Rotherham 1, Leeds United 1. Man, it just wasn't good enough today, was it? Just wasn't good enough today. Should be winning that kind of game. But let's be real. In the second half, it looked like Rotherham should have won it. And that's an indictment on the team, I'm afraid. I mean, listen, we'll go through it now, but please hit a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and of course, drop your comments below. Just thank you to John Abbott and Lord Sheargraph for their super thanks on the last video. And thank you to new members, Adrian, Ruben, and Peter. Thank you for joining the channel. If you want to become a member of the channel, helps me out. The memberships are in the description. What are we saying, people? Let's go through some of your comments to open up. John, 2 points drop, 100% 2 points drop. There's no other way of looking at it. Thea can't put that one up, but I hear you. Yeah, Richard, I hear that too. Yeah, T85, Tash and Reckner. I shouldn't shorten that down. It was complacent tonight. You know, we got comfortable. We saw it again, didn't we? We started out really well. And you saw how Rotherham set up, by the way. They set up with a back five that sometimes dropped into 6 and sometimes 7s. And we didn't put our foot on their neck. And this is something that I've been talking about. We need to beat these teams comprehensively, and we haven't done it yet. We haven't done it yet, but it's coming. But we've seen this performance many times before this season where we haven't taken advantage and got the full 3 points. I mean, there's a few. Okay, I've got to put them up because it's you guys saying it. So let me just put it up here. Holy Rumble saying, I'm not convinced with the manager. Wrong team selection and poor tactics. I was going to mention this one here. Let me just get it here. Oh, man. Comments are flying in. Nige. That's why we won't get automatic promotion. Awful lackluster performance. Pervader. Yeah, I want to get into all of this with you today. I got time today. We got time today. Let's talk about it. And yeah, for me, AC as well, totally unacceptable. Absolutely. You know, somebody made me laugh with a comment in the match preview about me going through Rotherham's team and many other championship clubs, looking at their players with disdain because it's not a good league. It's not. It's a tough league, but it's not a league full of quality. And this is the kind of game today where we're chasing the top 2. We need to set the marker. We need to make them nervous over the weekend. We could have done that today. And we looked like we was on our way. Then we just got comfortable. You know, the passes started to get a little loose. The concentration levels went down with a lot of them. Some of our best performers over the entire season were not that great today. But we'll talk about that, people. Mr. P, oh, sorry, it's gone up. Let me just... Mr. P saying, saw this result coming. I'm sad to say, it just felt like a Leeds performance was on the board. I said that, Mr. P, you'll know that. I said it. I was hoping that we would break that and say, okay, Rotherham, no manager. We're buzzing in the league. We've got the better players quite clearly. Is this going to be a banana skin? And it turned out it was. For me, a 1-1 draw it's not as bad as a defeat, of course it's not, but 2 points dropped at this stage, it's crucial because Danny Farke can say all he wants that people don't take much notice of it now rather than it's the 41st game. But the clubs, Ipswich and Leicester, they'll be looking at that today going, Leeds have dropped points today. Now it's time that we can build our gap back up. Yeah, so casual, playing in pajamas. I hear it. I hear it all. TB saying it was so obvious that we needed change at halftime. No energy. Farke waited too long to make changes again. Yeah, the record's starting to go this way, isn't it? He's won 2 of those where he hasn't made changes, and we've gone on to win the game. Now the ratio's going in not in his favor where we haven't won it due to slow changes. Max H here saying we were one-man team today. Everybody else was way below par. Yeah, and I think you talk about Somerville, right, Max? Somerville, even in the second half when we were poor, he was the one trying to get the ball, make things happen, trying to drift through players. He was excellent today. Well, he was brilliant today in terms. He was really good. But yeah, I hear you. I hear you with that. T85. Okay, let me get the team up so we can all see. So this was our starting lineup today, people. He's saying, I do not want to see Firpo ever again, but it's come take him off our hands and we can go get a proper left back. You listen, and that's another thing, people. I mean, the January transfer window is going to come quicker than you can imagine. So, you know, keep it locked in on the channel because obviously the transfer content, everything else will be coming up, December time, and we can get through some stuff, what we want to see, who we want to see go out, and we can really delve into it. But Firpo today made his first start, didn't offer us anything while he was on the pitch, I'm afraid. And I said it in my last match reaction, and it stays the same. The, the defense with both Firpo and Cooper, for me, I don't want to see that at any level. So I wasn't very comfortable with it anyway. But you thought with the first what 15, 20 minutes, we was dominant, we was having all the ball. Rotherham, it was like we were the home team and Rotherham were away, and we just didn't capitalize enough. Everything looks good up until we get into the box, because then we either shoot outside the box with some real bad efforts, or we don't get into the box enough. It's quite telling that Rotherham had more touches in our box than we had in theirs. I think that tells you a bit of a story. Yeah, he is Ziggy. Somerville class above anything else in this league. He was sensational, wasn't he? In terms of the way that when he got the ball, it felt like something was going to happen. That is the kind of player he is, and it's what I kind of predicted at the start of the season. I said that if he gets a run of games in this team at this level, his confidence is going to soar and his talent will shine, and that's what's happening, man. Uh, Adsa, Adsa saying Fopo makes Byram look like Paolo Maldini. Yeah, obviously Byram wasn't fully fit to play today. He was back in the team, as you can see on the bench, but quite clearly he wasn't in the right condition to start. But yeah, Firpo just didn't offer us anything. He didn't offer an outlet down the left. It wasn't even there overlapping. I didn't see him overlap once. I can't really think of any time he did. So yeah, maybe if you're gonna cut in some slack, it is his first start in however many months. But yeah, there just wasn't enough there. Gavin here saying Bamford and Pervader coming on says it all. Yeah, I don't know what the Pervader thing was about, people. Maybe you guys can let me know what the Pervader thing's about, because I have to go back to what you guys tell me as well. Some of you want Jaden Anthony to start over Dan James. Listen, Dan James wasn't good today. I think he could have had our old guy Lee Peltier sent off though. There was a ridiculous tackle in the box. I mean, the follow through was a disgrace, but Dan James wasn't good today. Don't get me wrong. But although he did put in a nice cross for Perot to head in it near the start of the game, we'll talk about Perot also. But yeah, I don't know what the Pervader thing's about. But Jaden Anthony, people calling for him to start. Pervader came on before him. And when Jaden Anthony came on, obviously he's not going to be all smiles and everything else like that. But it kind of looked like, well, how comes I'm being brought on in the 85th minute here? What's going on here? Craig here saying so much possession, but no real threat. Quite worrying. Rutter was off it today. In all fairness to Jorginho, man, his assist was so nice. It was real nice. But you could tell he was kind of playing with an injury because he went down a few times holding his stomach. So I do think the plan all along was to start Jorginho, get as much out of him as you can, and then take him off. But I think Daniel Farke and the team probably thought they'd be in a better position than what was it? When did he go off? Was it 1-0, 1-1? Whichever it wasn't a good enough gap in the game. And Rotherham were on top at that point. So it wasn't ideal time for him to come off, but he had to. But yeah, that wasn't Jorginho's best game. But you saw, even though he wasn't fully fit, he still gave us some magic in the game. So yeah, saw that as well, Andy. Yeah, unfortunate that Spence wasn't fit enough to be on the bench. A game like that needed him running at their fullback 100%. You saw their back line was so, and I mean this very respectfully, it was old. I was seeing players that were in their prime in championship level anyway 10 years ago. That defense was there to be got at, and we didn't do enough to penetrate the defense. We just didn't do enough. So you guys with the you guys with the old kit stuff, man. Listen, you create your own luck. I think you create your own luck. Let me just get the super chats in. Lord Sheargraph, Cressy, Joseph, Bate. Do they go in January? Um, I mean, Bate, I forgot he was here, man. I'll be real. Charlie Creswell is an interesting one. We'll see about that one because I still think that we need another centre back, and I think that was quite clear today. And we'll talk about that too. It's going to be interesting. He was given a new contract, the number 5 shirt. I know numbers don't mean nothing these days, but he was given like he was going to be a cornerstone of the defense. And Strauch and Roden, when they're together, have been really good. So it's been hard for him to break through, but he's hardly been given opportunities off the bench. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Creswell. Mateo Joseph, for me, he should be in this team. As much as people want Jaden Anthony, you're fighting for Jaden Anthony to get a start. I'm fighting for Joseph to get on the bench. It just doesn't seem to be happening. But we'll have to see come January time, Lord Sheargrass. William here saying 2 yards to cover and Elian can't touch it. Been reading the press clippings, no killer instinct ticks me off. Yeah, I mean, listen, yeah, our goal was nice. Let's get that one out of the way first. Kamara in the first half, especially, was looking his silky self, and him and Ampadu, by the way, were covering so nicely when Rotherham did get forward. They were really good in the first half. Kamara helped set up that goal, played it with Jorginho, then slips it into Somerville, bottom corner, and you're thinking, all right, let's go now. I'm thinking it's going to be a tight 2-0, but maybe we can do more today. But then from there, we just sat back. We took our feet off the pedal and just went chill mode. That's how it was. We went into chill mode. We sat back and said, you know what? They're not up for this today. We're so much better than them. We're just gonna pass it round, take a shot from 25 yards and see how we get on. It was no, you've got to kill these teams because even though you can see their quality isn't there, they were battling, they were fighting. You could see it. They were trying every time when they got the ball to just get it forward, and they did a few times when they got it around Cooper. Listen, Cooper went off with a hamstring injury towards the end after he got rinsed yet again. The one good thing Cooper did, and it was absolutely unbelievable. It's like the Twilight Zone. This play. It was when Joe Roden tried to play it through, it bounced off their player and through to Ampadu, who then heads it to their player. And then and Melier, the dive itself, I don't think anyone even realized Melier's dive. It was ridiculous. It was an atrocious dive for the shot. But Cooper found himself in the right place and cleared it off the line. That was excellent from Liam Cooper. Everything else, it's like I said in one of the other match reactions, sometimes you have to know when it's your time, like Gary Neville did against West Brom for Man United. You've got to say, you know what, man, I can't do this. The amount of times they targeted him to rinse him, and it worked every single time. And it happens in other games too. So, look, I don't know how injured he is. Darren Wong, did Cooper pretend to be injured when he was taken off? Look, I don't know about that. I'm not going to accuse him of faking an injury here, but he had a tough time when it was a one-on-one race, and that's going to happen. He hasn't got the legs no more. Dave here saying give Rotherham credit for fighting back. I'll give him more than that, Dave, because in the second half, if you were looking at it overall, yes, the first 20 minutes we were really good, but other than that, I actually think Rotherham probably deserved a win with the way that they played, the chances they created in our box. They probably were if you were to balance it out, they would probably deserve a 2-1 win today. So I give them more than enough credit. They stayed in the game enough. Their deep line worked, and they held us off, and then they got back in the game, and that was it. Mark is saying Cooper looked beaten, all ends up by a bang average forward every time. Well, look, let's talk about their goal because I see Cooper getting a lot of slack for that one. Hey, listen, no agenda. Look, and I've said this before about losing the ball on the pitch. Somerville, Kamara, they both lose the ball. You're going to lose the ball somewhere on the pitch, people. If it's further up the pitch, that means there's a lot of work to do before someone scores. You either lose it there, lose it in midfield, defense, whatever. You're going to lose the ball at some point. Even Man City do. But there was a lot of sequences in between, comedy sequences before, and we could have cleared that. Even Kamara, who got back, it was a very lackadaisical leg he stuck out to block the ball. Roden, Archie Gray, just I don't know what they were doing. Cooper obviously beaten for pace in the first instant, but then Melier at his near post. It was an absolute catalogue of errors. It wasn't just down to one person at all. It really wasn't. There was just so many errors. It was so bad. And just before halftime as well, all the momentum shift to Rotherham then, all of it. And then we allowed the game to go into a championship game, whereas the first 20 minutes, we looked like we were the big boys against the little kids in the playground. That's how it looked. But then Rotherham made it their kind of game. So, yeah, what are we saying about Melier's position in there? I just, it's one of these things. And like I give Cooper the credit for the block on the line, overall, I know that he's not it for this team. Like I give Melier credit for that brilliant save against Leicester, that absolutely brilliant save. But overall, I just know that if we were to go up to the Premier League, and I've said it before, and I won't shy away from it, I know that we need an absolute dominant number one in the league. We cannot go up with Elan. I'm sorry, he's just not it for me. I absolutely and go back at the start. I rated Melier so highly, but we're talking about years later here. And I was thinking that this guy would be one of the best goalkeepers for France once Lloris retired. He's not even in the top three. And that's a genuine thing, not just because France play three different keepers. It's just that he's not there and his game hasn't developed that much, even though he was in the Premier League. But yeah, Jason Lee saying Melier would do for now. That's it. I kind of agree with that. Nige saying Melier at fault. He should have saved it, or at least get something to it. You know what I'm saying. I don't believe in that myth that every near post shot needs to be saved, but the positioning was just poor, and that was their first shot on target as well. People. Um, Mikey saying Melier's position is terrible. He can't dominate his area. His shot stopping is awful. If is I'm not just going to put these ones up. If anyone thinks that Melier could be the number one, if we were to go up, please let me know, and I will put those up too. Melier is making the same mistakes he did 3 years ago. Yeah, it's absolutely right. He is, unfortunately. Um, Mark say Melier needs to go. We can make do for now, but if we go up, he has to go. Yeah, I mean, I don't see him wanting to sit on the bench. I do think that he is a number one goalkeeper, but I just know that if we're going in the Prem, I want a dominant goalie, and there is the man. And if you don't watch if you don't watch other football, and you only watch Leeds, then you probably think Melier is, the best thing since sliced bread. But there are other goalkeepers out there that will give you a better chance of winning a game. Um, Tintin saying here, international players leggy. Is anybody in agreement with that? I think there could be something to it, but they weren't looking leggy in the first 20. They were looking very confident. And then the confidence start it leaned over that thin line, people. That confident, it kind of leaned over to arrogance of we're just going to win this game. Um, Okay, okay. It's not one. I thought it was one familiar via the stats, but I think I've seen this one. Crypto Steve stats show Melier's poor stopping shots compared to most in this division. Yeah, I think I saw that graph. I think he was around 12th, wasn't he? He was around 12th in the table, and that kind of adds up to what you see with your eyes and the stat sheet. That's where sometimes a stat sheet does actually equate to the eye test as well. So I kind of did agree with that. Um, Andy here saying, yeah, in terms of international, yeah, by the end of the first half, they were shut, in my opinion. Sub needed a lot quicker. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Darren here, did Bamford prevent our winner by straying offside? He could have kept his body in a little bit more just to erase that element of doubt at that point for the linesman. But look, even before then, yes, that would have been nice to get that goal. Jane Anthony, wheeling off thinking he won it, but we should have done more before that as well. But yeah, he could have done more to stay on side, possibly. Yeah, if you want to put that. Does anyone? I don't blame him for that. I gotta say, I can't blame him because I don't expect anything more from him. Just being honest, but yeah, he could have done a little bit more. Mark Carter just saying, I'm done with Bamford. I hear you. I hear you. That's what I'm saying. Mateo Joseph, give him a shot. What's the worst that can happen, people? What's the worst that can happen? Yeah, Andy saying can't really blame Pat for that. It was close. Yeah, I'm saying that too. I mean, if you're a real, killer, you'll know your body positions. The better strikers do it. But you know what? Listen, just to say that it's not Bamford, Perot today did not have a good game. His shots today were so weak. I don't know what I don't know what was happening with Joel today. Unfortunately, when you do interviews and you say there's still more from to come from me, it's like, okay, let's see what you got. But today, no, Joel Perot, the chance he was getting chances today, and his finishing was poor, and his decisions at time was poor. Where he shot at times where he could have passed it back or across to a teammate. So Joel Perot today, there was a lot of poor performers out there today. I'm in all honesty. Yeah, Athena. Yeah, 100%. I couldn't believe that Perot didn't get that header on target in the beginning. Yeah, lovely cross from Dan James. He's just got to time his jump better. That could have been set the mark real early. Yeah, it was. It was reminding me of that. Perot must have been wearing clicks boots with those P rollers. Absolutely. He bet. You know what? Against his former club on Wednesday, he better bring his shooting boots, man. We always talk. We always talking about players coming back to haunt Leeds. We want him to go back and haunt Swansea, even though it's at Ellen Road. I need that. I need that storyline. It's a plain storyline, plain simple storyline in football. We need that. So Joe Perot, bring them, please. Sarah here saying next to it, Eleanor got to be 6 points. Yeah. Now we're watching this weekend's fixtures, people. Ipswich at West Brom, Leicester at home. Who they got? Who they got? Watford. We're looking at those now and hoping that we don't lose more ground in the race for top two. Dave here saying playing struggling with Daniel Farke's ways. He plays people in strange positions. Let's just go through the team. We've discussed Perot, Jorginho, yeah, not fully fit. Crescencio, yeah, brilliant yet again, which is horrible at this time of year. Dan James, not his best game, but he's been good for us so far. Kamara, Ampadu, mixed bag, was brilliant in the first half an hour cleaning stuff up, but then just went off the boil. Maybe it is for international fatigue. Could be. Cooper, brilliant block, but no, the legs have just disappeared, man. They've gone. Furpo didn't offer us nothing. Archie Gray, again. Archie Gray was looking comfortable in the first half an hour. It seems like a pattern I'm talking here, but he was moving into the midfield. He was doing the whole Trent thing of playing at the right back, but then moving into central midfield. But then he got lost at fullback in this game today. It wasn't Archie Gray's best outing. So then the subs. Let's move on to the subs. Yeah, I mean, boy, boy. Um, okay, Anthony. Yeah, I think I've spoke about these guys enough. Nonto again, not enough impact in this one. Which has been a bit of a story when he's been given an opportunity, to be fair. But I don't blame it in terms of that. But Paveda coming on as a sub before Jane Anthony, I need to know the reason for that. And of course, Bamford coming on, but at least Bamford came on, but Perot wasn't replaced, I would say. But yeah, I mean, what's everyone saying? What's everyone saying? Yeah, I would say that needed more time. Um, Nanto needed more time. Yeah, 100. Yeah. Let me just see here. Oh, Mr. P here with a super chat. Thank you, Mr. P. We need to finish. Oh, I think you mean teams, Mr. P. Yeah, we'll pause that one there. I think I think you're auto correct. Yeah, we'll go with that, Mr. P. We need to finish teams off when dominating games. That spell check's done you, Mr. P. The passing around at the back will continue to cost us. Yeah, so much of that today. It's one of those things we always seem to do. We pass it around at the back so much. If it's not Cooper back to Melier, it's Rodon out to Cooper, then out to Firpo, back to Cooper, back to Melier. It happens a lot, doesn't it? And with the talent we have, we worry other teams. So we should be doing more in terms of penetrating their defense, but it didn't happen today. Um, SB though saying, I think you're being harsh on Paveda. Thought he was good today. I mean, what did he do? let me know what he did. I didn't see it, man. So listen, that's what football is, isn't it? It's subjective. You don't know. I didn't see what he did today. All I'm saying is that Jan Paveda has come back to this football club after being on loan at Blackpool and Blackburn and not being a regular for him. And we're expecting him to be someone that's leading a promotion charge. Is that what I'm hearing now? I don't know. Yeah, ran a lot. Yeah, running hype. Yeah, heat map hype. People love it though. Listen, people love football in different ways. I like players to be skillful, silky, goals, assists. Some people like players to look like they're working hard and running around. That's why Adam Forshaw was a big hit here. No goals, no assists, no big tackles, nothing. But his heat map was lit. That's what happens. That's what happens. Um, Stephen saying, how did we not win? Terrible night's performance. We blew so hot and cold. Yeah, I know. I hear that. So let me just switch to this one here. The, the stats on this one, in terms of things like this, it's this one here, people. Shots on target. That's awful. Possession, I've always said about possession, it's all about what you do with it. 75 possession sounds like we were dominant, but it wasn't like that. We wasn't doing anything in the danger areas. So it's about this one though. 18 shots, that sounds great, but 5 on target, that's a poor return. That's a very, very poor return. It just shows you, and a couple of those were Joel Perot basically passing them to their goalkeeper, you know. Um, Rob saying KG Paveda is better than Gruev though. I mean, Paveda's a winger and Gruev is a defensive midfielder. I mean, what? I mean, Rob. I mean, I don't know what that actually means because it's a completely different comparison. Is he better than Melier? He's a goalkeeper. I don't get that. But okay. Paveda Hive is in the chat. No worries. Yeah, completely different phrase. I don't get it. Um, Don James. Everybody goes on about the talent we have, but for me, it's overhyped. This Leeds team is going to drop points. I don't think it's overhyped, Don. I really don't. When you look at what our strongest starting 11 could be when everyone's healthy, and I include Stroud partner in Joe Roden with that, I include Jed Spence starting. Our starting 11 is probably one of the best in the league. Argue with Leicester if you like. But in this league, when you're going up against a team like Rotherham, you saw the team they had. They had Sean Morrison in there, people. Lee Peltier. Remember Lee Peltier? They had those kind of players. We should be doing more than enough to beat these kind of teams. We really should. I don't think it's overhyped at all. I do think that the team is pretty good. But listen, does anyone else think it's overhyped? Let me know. Let me know. Um, SJ44 saying, put it down to the international break and march on. Uh, Paul Gray here saying, going back to 2015, dropping points to poor championship opposition. God, I hope not. We could listen. We could only hope that the top two tomorrow, drop points also. J Dog saying, Farke starting Rutter today is a mistake. Sorry, Nanto should have played 9 or Perot. Ooh, I hear what you're saying, J Dog, but the thing is, for me, I do think that if you can get 60 minutes out of Rutter and he was fit and available to play, then you get it out of him. If it's not possible, then of course drop him. But I do agree with starting him today. I'm not going to look at it with hindsight and say we should have done this and that. If Jorginho is fit and ready to start, we absolutely have to play him. He's probably the best player in the team along with Somerville. So yeah, but I hear what you're saying in terms of doing something different, but it didn't happen today. Gary here, can we realistically still get top two if we do this too often? No, we can't. Absolutely not. This is the table as we stand now, and it just shows you, even with Ipswich having a little bit of a dip with a couple of draws, now we've got a draw in there. We're 7 points behind with a game played more. There is no time. We cannot do that. We need to go on a run where we get 5 wins in a row to give us a bit more breathing space and to chase down those top two. That's what we have to do. Rob is confident. No, he says West Brom will beat Ipswich. I hope so. I hope so. They've got a good chance. They've got a good chance to beat them. And that is true. Bob's here, as he can see in the table there. Southampton can go above us with a win. Yeah, that's what I mean. It was in our hands tonight to set the tone for the weekend, and we failed to do it, unfortunately. And it's not one of those where listen. We've got a quick turnaround in games. We've got Swansea on Wednesday, which is good. We can get another game out of the way. But yeah, it's not a good one for me today. I'm sorry. It is 2 points dropped. Gail here saying was worried after the international break. I hear it. Listen, as well with the starting lineup, Daniel Farke kind of played rope-a-dope with that. He was talking about how the team was hardly fit, but then we played pretty much our strongest team. Listen, he's talking now. Let me see if I can get anything of note. Um, he's talking about playing with 98%, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't win. He's saying the young player's naive with mistakes. Hmm. I don't know. No, I do, Andy. Look, I've been told off about doing the voice, Andy. I don't know if I should do it. I don't know. 98%. He's saying he was aware that it wasn't. He was obviously it was going to be a tough game, not a walk in the park. They gave their lives in terms of Rotherham. They earned a point. Oh, seems a bit spicy in this one. He's saying a point on the road is never a bad result, but he wanted to go for it, which is why he made the three subs then. And Junior Firpo could only go for 65 minutes. Yeah. Wait there. And then he finished off there. We couldn't get the well deserved winner. I've got to disagree with that. I don't think that we deserve to win. So I'm going to disagree with that. He seems to be a bit annoyed. I think overall that we didn't put the game away, but I don't think we deserved the winner. But I do think that we should have got a penalty, though. I do think that, and Lee Peltier should have walked. Let's have a look. Let me just say as well. There's just 500 of you here. If you could please hit the like, if you're not doing anything else, please do that. It really does help the channel out. Helps me out. So please hit the like button on the video, please. Um, yeah, I think he will be angry with that draw, but he should be angry at himself. I think he will be. I think he will be. I think we know with Daniel Farke, he's a pretty stubborn guy. So I don't know if he changes much. We'll see what comes around come Swansea at for the game against Swansea. But yeah, it would be nice to see a few earlier changes than he does. But yeah. Um, Dave here saying Rotherham could have got a win if they're better players. I agree with that 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Darren here saying Peltier had a bad tackle on Dan James. He certainly did. It was disgusting, man. Like he got the ball. That's not the problem. It's the follow through. And the commentator was right. Romero got sent off for something very similar, and we don't have VAR, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, he should have had a red card. But is what it is. And Don James here, I think that kind of sums it up. We are all angry with the draw. I agree with that, and I think that's a good way to finish. I think that's the best place to finish, people. Unless there is anything else that anybody wants to say, then we can get on out of here because yeah, it is late. That game, as I set the weekend off right. Dave here saying it's not a loss, but it feels like one. Yeah, I hear that 100%. Sam here saying objectively we did deserve to win. However, as we played well below our potential, it sometimes feels like we didn't. Uh, I'd agree with you, Sam, for the first 20, 30 minutes. After that, though, it was a coin toss, wasn't it? I think it was a coin toss for who could have won that game. But yeah, look, we've got the point. We'll have to move on, see what the results are saying tomorrow. I'll be back with another show either Sunday or Monday. So, click the notification bell so you know when I'm going live. And yeah, listen, people, enjoy the rest of your weekend if you can. Rotherham 1, Leeds 1. We move on. Peace out, people. Peace out.